Today I have joined Russell Weston, Snowbee UK Managing Director, and Russell Simons from Real Photo on the Snowbee boat, the Deep Blue. We're off to hunt down and tag blue sharks in the channel.
So here we are, leaving QAB Marina in Plymouth on the Snowbee Deep Blue, going sharking. And we couldn't have a better day for it. It's absolute flat calm with promises of sunshine by 9 o'clock.
First, we're going to need to catch some bait fish, which today will be mackerel. Then head off to a wreck and try and bag a cod or two for tea, before targeting today's main quarry, the blue shark.
First good signs of mackerel, we'll stop and pick up some bait. We've stopped on the drop-off a few miles off Plymouth, which is a favourite spot for mackerel. We've just picked up bait, so now we're steaming off about another 12 miles to the shark grounds. Start drifting, put down some rubby-dubby, start a slick, and then sit and wait. This is the wreck and there's loads of fish above it. All the blue is fish. The white with the yellow outline is the hard line of the wreck. There's fish tight on the wreck at the moment. We are currently about mid-tide on an ebb tide, so we would expect to find the fish up tide of it. So we'll have a little run around and see what we can find. We're going to start off, before we go sharking today, we're going to start off and do some speed jigging on this wreck. So once we've found the fish, we will stop and give it a go. I'm just moving down to the west to get down below the wreck, and then we'll steam right up across it, heading up tide, as that's where we would expect to see the fish. Little bit of fish marking, tight on the bottom, up tide of the wreck, but not what we would expect. We'll just give it a little bit further, otherwise it looks as if the fish are tight on the wreck today, which is not a problem, just means we lose more gear. That's interesting.
Yeah, this wreck is in several pieces and there's little bits and lumps all over the shop on it.
I'll tell you what, should we give that little scratch a drift?
Should we?
Because if there's cod about, that's more likely to be it, tight to the bottom. What we do is cast the jigs down tide so that as the boat's drifting down with the tide, the jig is going down ahead of you, so that by the time you reach it, it is directly over the fish vertically. So that's the plan. Let's see. And then it's just free spool right down to the bottom. We're drifting generally down that way. And as I say, we're going to be working the jigs today really tight to the bottom in the hope of finding cod. Today we're using the old favourite, which is our Snowbee Deep Blue 20-pound class rods. They're just fabulous rods, beautiful blanks. We designed them perfectly for this type of fishing, wreck fishing in the English Channel, and they just are superb. Matched up today with my favourite, which is the Accurate. This is actually an old 270 twin speed, which is now being superseded by the new 400 models, but just amazing reels. Small, solid, all bar stock, machined aluminium, and yeah, okay, they're not the cheapest reels on the market, but this reel must be at least 10 years old. Look after it, wash it down after every trip, and it's still good as new. And you're just paying for absolute quality. You know, if you look at that with the bearings, everything's on bearings, and it just goes on and on. Fabulous reels. Really weird little plucks on this. I wonder if there's squid down there.
So is it actually possible to hook squid when you're jigging? Or?
Oh yes, yeah, they will attack just about anything. And I've got a twin hook rig on this, and if you foul hook them, it's quite possible. It's actually quite surprising what will take a jig. You know, you'll catch pouting and whiting that are not much bigger than the jig itself, but they'll still have a go at it. Ah, oh, great big mackerel. Now there's an example. That's not much bigger than the jig, but they will still have a go at it. You find when you're jigging for cod, you can see we're using quite fine tough line braid here, and if you watch it on the water, you can see we drop the rod tip quite fast so that the braid loops. Oh, that was a touch. You can see it sort of spooling on the surface, because very often with cod they'll take the jig on the way down like that. Yes, nice fish. Oh, come on, boy. Ooh. Wow. Woo. That was a strong take. That's quite a good fish. Feels quite coddy. You can generally tell a cod because they've got this habit of shaking their heads, and you get this dug 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 all the way up, which is a completely different fight to a pollock. which is more of a sort of 2 strong dives. But because I was working that jig really tight to the bottom, literally a couple of feet of the bottom, it's more likely to be a cod.
What sort of depth are we fishing in then?
We're in about 72 metres here, so 210, 220 feet. Here she comes. And it is indeed a nice cod. Oh yes, beauty. That's what we came for. We got him. Probably about 8, 9 pounds, something like that. Cooperate a bit, and there we are. That's what we came for. First of many, I hope. Bottom feeders, they will attack pretty much anything you put down there, but we found jigging works particularly well with cod. As I say, if you work them tight to the bottom.
That's a stunning fish. What is it about cod?
The taste. Bit smaller, this one, I think. Not sure if it's a cod or not. Very often when you're jig fishing, you can foul hook fish because the jigs are moving so fast, the fish will go for them, miss the jig, but the hook will foul hook them. So you do actually pick up quite a lot of small ground fish like pouting and whiting that can quite often be foul hooked. Just hope the cod get there first. Yeah, like that.
Coalfish.
Oh, a little coalfish. Now that is unusual. I'll tell you what, we will have the net for that, because that is very unusual. We haven't seen coalfish here for many, many years, and that is a lovely sight to see. Oh, come on, chap. Yep. Foul hooked by the tail, but they all count. Oops. Where's he gone? Not sure what's going on here. There we go. Right. Let's get that one out of the way. Let's get the hook out. That will probably make life a bit easier. I think that is probably, he's too small actually, we'll put him back. Don't you think?
Yeah,
That's probably only the second coalfish we've seen in about the last 10 years.
10 years. Yeah.
So that is a nice sight to see, a beautiful fish. He's bleeding, but it's from the tail, so that's not a problem. Oof, and off he goes.
So that's a sign that perhaps there's a bit more biodiversity in the channel?
It's really weird. We've seen this year some of the warmest water temperatures we've seen for years, and yet we're seeing more cold water species like coalfish. It just doesn't add up. I was fishing in Guernsey last weekend, and they said over there they've seen more codling this year than they've seen for years, and yet their water temperature is something like 18 degrees, which is the highest they've ever known it. But apparently with the codling, there are 2 actual stocks of cod. There's one that comes down from the north and the North Sea, and there's another that comes up from Biscay. And that first one we had was quite a sort of green mottled colours, and those are the Biscay fish. So it looks as if we've got some of those moving up with the warmer water that we've got up here this year. But who knows? Ask the fish.
How's the fish?
Well, this is my special recipe rubby dubby, which there's just about a bit of everything in there. It's primarily minced up mackerel and other bait fish, but there's all sorts of additives in there, shall we say. There's fish oil, there's all sorts of these fish additives that are supposed to attract, but I have to say they do work. Some of the attraction properties of them are really quite sensational. And so we set that going, which you can see immediately. You can see the oils coming out of it. We also mix bran with it, like horse feed bran, so you have all the little particles which all absorb the oils and smell, and they disperse, but it just makes it last longer. So what we're going to do now is steam quietly. I'll put that in because that's all extra smell.
We're going to steam for a quarter hour or so?
Yeah, I'll give it a...
In that case, I'll put the birds out, shall I?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
But we'll steam up tide and across tide so that we're setting a slick up before we actually stop and start sharking. So for the sharking we use heavy, about 300-400 pound monofilament. That is really just as a chafe, because the shark will quite often spin and they've got very rough skin, and it will chafe through any normal thickness monofilament. So we use a heavy mono as a chafe, probably about 6 feet of that, and then onto a wire trace which copes with the sharp teeth. And we've moved over in the last few years to barbless circle hooks. So we use heavy duty mustad circle hooks, but hammer the barb down and file it off. And generally you'll find if you use those, the shark are hooked right in the scissors and are far easier to unhook, and causes them far less damage.
You were saying earlier about the tagging program.
Yeah, we work quite closely with the Shark Trust, which is actually based in Plymouth, and they have a shark tagging program. So whenever we can, we try and tag shark before we release them. So it just helps with their research when they're re-caught. But hopefully we'll show you that a bit later. So there's the rig, heavy duty swivels, circle hook, heavy wire trace, swivel, and then about 6 feet of 300-400 pound monofilament through to another swivel onto your main line. Simple as that. And we just use simple kids balloons as floats. Which is just enough to hold the mackerel bait up in the water. And then what we generally do is use a weak 6-8 pound monofilament link onto the swivel, so that once you hook a fish, that will snap off, so it's not getting in the way while you're trying to play it.
So you gave me an analogy earlier on. What was it about shark fishing?
That's one of Russ's sharks fishing is 95% boredom, 5% sheer terror. And I think that pretty much sums it up. Generally put a few slices in the bait just to get a bit more juice into the water. And then we just single hook them right up through the head, which is the hardest part, so it tends to keep the baits on the hook. And that's it, good to go. What shark could resist that? So the bait sinks down just to the depth restricted by the balloon on the end of the trace, and we'll feed these out. There's not a great deal of current today, but it is moving. So we'll feed these out about 20 yards and then we sit and wait for the shark to arrive. We're using 30-pound Snowbee deep blue rods, which are more than enough for the job, and that again is one of the older models, the Accurate Boss Magnum 665, which is now the equivalent of the 600 series in the BX range, but very much the same reel. Again, solid bar stock machined, very heavy gearing and fabulous drag system. The one thing about Accurates is they have a patented twin drag system. Every other multiplier on the market, when you click it into gear, you have a single drag disc pressing against the drag washer on the side of the spool. With Accurates, you have two, one each side. So it's a far more balanced reel. If you only have a single drag washer on one side and all the pull coming from the spool, it's, from an engineering point of view, it's out of balance. Whereas with the Accurate, having twin drags pressing from either side of the spool, it's compressing the spool and it's a far more balanced system. And not only that, of course, it gives you double the drag surface area, so it gives you a far smoother and more powerful drag. Yep. It's worth mentioning that all of our Snowbee deep blue rods are all accurately IGFA rated. If it says £30, it is £30, simple as that. There's an awful lot of rods on the market that say £12 to £20, which really means nothing. We single rate our rods and they are accurate to the IGFA rating system.
The blue shark primarily predates on squid, cuttlefish, lobster and a large number of bony fish, but will also take carrion and the occasional seabird. Blue sharks have been observed working together as a pack to herd prey into concentrated groups so they can feed more easily. What this means to us is that if we get one, we're likely to knock into another.
Yes! There we go. And we're in. Right. Russ, can you do a strapodictomy?
Yeah, I'm right.
Are you in as well? Oh, yeah, we're in. Shoot. Right.
Oh, look at this, look, I got one.
Whoa!
Following.
Chasing. Whoa! Whoa! Can I have the butt pad?
Yep.
That's good. A few interested parties. Now, this manoeuvre's called Roger the Cabin Boy.
Okay.
Yep. Good.
Here you go.
Okay. He has other ideas. Jeez,
That's a good fish.
that's a good fish. Yeah, that was a good one following in as well.
Yep.
That was 120, 140, I reckon. By the feels of this, I reckon this is 100 plus. This is always the soul destroying bit. You pump him all the way to the surface and then he goes and does this all over again. Whoa, like this.
Do you want to tag him?
Yeah, we will if we can. We'll see how big he is and how aggressive he is. Whoa.
Blue sharks, like many other species of shark, are counter-shaded. The top of the body is a deep blue with a white belly. Male blue sharks commonly grow to 2 meters, whereas their female counterparts can reach over 3 meters in length.
Mate, if you can come here a minute.
Yep. Okay. Woo. Hey, first one of the day. But where there's one, there's more. I'll go 75. Locality in words. Where are we? Right, let's get menu. Let's get our position. Come on, sea temperature. $16 Parasites, no. Bait used.
You got him?
Oh yes.
Excellent.
Leave that on while I get the
Probably the same one. You know.
What, the same one as yours
No,
that you've just lost?
no. Same one as you caught just now.
Nah. They can't be that stupid, can they? Here he comes. Ooh, he's quite a big
There's another one underneath it.
There is.
That's not the one that you're on.
That's another one.
That's another one.
That's a separate one. He's come to have a look.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
The oceanic blue shark is pelagic, found worldwide in deep temperate and tropical waters, ranging from Norway in the north and as far south as Chile.
He's taking it. Here he goes. Woo! Yep. Do you want me to get your necklace out of the way? I'll just sit quiet. quietly and drink beer and laugh.
Yeah. Of course you would. Wouldn't you?
Oh, you saw how the tag gun works, did you? It's just a hollow needle, which you put the tag down into, which has just got a plastic barb, and you just stab it in, and it just tags the fish. Doesn't harm it, and you've got a record then for good. So the next person that catches that snips the tag off and reports it
I'll
to
tell
the
you what.
Shark Trust. What?
You watch where my line was.
Yep.
If that wasn't a bonito, I don't know what was.
You're joking.
I'm not.
Wow. In that case, we will get the spinning rods out in a minute. What, in the slick?
In the slip.
Woo.
It was about 3 times the size of the mackerel.
Woo. Forget the shark. Yes, down there.
That's him.
Or is it big garfish?
No, it's big
It's
garfish.
oceanic gar. Even so,
Even so,
that'll be fun on a spinning rod.
better still on a fly rod.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Did you get them both?
Got him?
Yeah. Cheers. Here he comes.
For more information on Snowbee and their products, why not visit their website at www.snowbee.co.uk. Just leaves me time to say thanks for watching, hope you've enjoyed the show, and stay tuned for more exciting adventures with Wilderness TV and the Snowbee crew.